Once you realize you're lucid dreaming, do not freak out. I'm back. For those of you who follow my channel, about all seven y'all, at this point, yeah, I've been away for a little while. It's been about a year since my last video. Shame on me, but life has been smacking. So, God with Amnesia is back. Hopefully on a more consistent basis because I have a lot of things that I want to talk about. But if you're tuning into this channel, if you're tapping in, you are probably here to learn about lucid dreaming. So, I'm gonna break it down, tell you about what it is, how to do it, and my own personal experiences. So, from the top, lucid dreaming. Lucid dreaming is the act of becoming aware in your dream, and then exerting some form of control over your dream environment. It is a skill, so it's not something that people usually are naturally capable of. At a time or another in your life, or in my life, I may have lucid dreamed accidentally, so realized I was dreaming and then either woken up out of my dream once I made that realization, or done some cool stuff in my dream that we'll talk about later. But during the beginning of quarantine, it was actually something that I actively tried to train myself to do. So I was doing research, I was reading a lot of stuff about lucid dreaming, finding out the things that people were able to do in their dreams. It just sounded like a cool adventure at the minimum. But I was reading a book at the time, and I'll link a few books that might help you definitely get started in the process. Definitely recommend reading them. Reading is fundamental, so let's get it. But yeah, I started reading these books and trying out the techniques that they were outlining in the text. So that's what lucid dreaming is. We'll get into more specifics of my experiences with lucid dreaming and what you can do, what you can try out, what you can see, things like that, how it happens. But how to lucid dream is probably the most important part. So, becoming aware in your dreams is not as easy as it sounds. It requires you to reach a point where you can look around and recognize that you are not in your normal reality. That being said, there are techniques and ways to facilitate that realization. And one that is really common, one that was helpful for me, was just the simple act of throughout your day, stop what you're doing, take 30 seconds, and ask yourself, am I dreaming? It's going to sound like a crazy question, but just trust me on this. Ask yourself, am I dreaming? You're going to, and then answer the question, right? So you're going to think, you're going to look around, you're going to be like, well, this looks like my house, my job, my car, whatever it might be, wherever you are. And so you'll be like, okay, yeah, I don't think I'm dreaming. And then you ask yourself how you got there. So just replay the events in your mind of how you ended up where you are. I got breakfast, and then I brushed my teeth, and then I ate breakfast, and then I went to work, and that's how I ended up here in this chair. Okay, so do that. After that 30-second contemplation, do the simple act of counting your fingers. So look at your fingers and go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Or 9 if you're missing a finger. 11 if you have an extra one. And that will incite your mind to get into the habit of questioning your reality. That is the most important part of this process. These are called triggers. You'll read about them in the books. That trigger of your mind questioning reality is going to form what we consider a habit. So if you do this, let's say 3 times a day, morning, afternoon, nighttime, over time, your mind is going to get in the habit of saying, am I dreaming? Is this reality? The whole goal of this process is to have your mind form this habit so that when you enter your dream realm, when you're dreaming at night, your mind automatically plays out this habit. So while you're dreaming, you'll do the same thing you usually do. Maybe it's morning in your dream and you're still dreaming. You don't know where you are. You're just kind of normal, right? You're going to ask yourself, am I dreaming? Is this reality? And what you're going to realize in answering those questions and doing that contemplation, you're going to notice really strange things. For me, my fingers used to shimmer. So I'd be like, why are my fingers glowing? Why are my fingers shimmering? And I'd be like, oh, wait, I'm dreaming. And that's how I would be like, wow, I'm dreaming. Wait, let me not freak out. I'm dreaming. I'm in my dream. And I'm aware. I'm conscious. I can see things. I can touch things. The whole issue with dreams is that when you're in a dream seems real. Like you actually don't question the reality of your dream, even if it's wild shit happening. Zombies could be chasing you. You could be flying off a mountain. Pterodactyls and dragons could be coming out of the floor. And because you're dreaming, it's just normal. That's why when you have a nightmare, you're in a plane full of snakes. It's horrible. You've never actually questioned how you got in a plane full of snakes. You kind of just take it for truth because the dream is so convincing. And that's the whole thing about dreaming. A dream feels real until you wake up.
Well, dreams they feel real while we're in them, right? It's only when we wake up that we realize something was actually strange. Let me ask you a question. You never really remember the beginning of a dream, do you? You always wind up right in the middle of what's going on.
I guess, yeah.
So how did we end up here?
Well, we just came from the,
Think about it, Ariadne. How did you get here? Where are you right now?
we're dreaming?
And you see that, oh, I was just dreaming. I was in my mind, which we can get to as a whole different topic about why dreams are completely outrageous. The fact that you can see in a dream with your eyes closed, you're seeing colors and things, but your eyes are physically closed. That you can hear people in a dream, but you're sleeping and you're probably in your bed, so your ears aren't picking up any outside frequencies. So you're picking up internal frequencies and hearing things. Just the whole idea of dreaming is actually kind of outrageous, but lucid dreaming just takes it to a whole new level. So those are triggers. Some other triggers I've heard of, I haven't really tried them, so I'm only really going to speak from personal experience. Some people will make a habit of flicking light switches in their daily wake, in their reality, right, in their daily day-to-day life. So like if I walk into a room at work, switch a light switch. I go home, switch a light switch. Whatever it is, like I enter a coffee shop, I'll switch a light switch, whatever it might be. But what that does is things just work weird in dreams, right? So in your dream, if your habit is switching light switches, you're going to switch the light switch and the light might not turn on, or a different color might happen, or something weird might happen. So that's your trigger, whatever your trigger is. If I take a rubber band and I go like that 40 times a day, I have a habit of doing that. In my dream, I'm gonna do the same thing, and something weird might happen. The whole idea of a trigger is to make some weird thing happen, so you realize you're dreaming. After that, it's the world is open. It's open sesame. We can do whatever we want. So once you realize you're lucid dreaming, do not freak out. That is the most important part. Do not freak out. What you want to try to do, you want to try to anchor your dream. So if you meditate, this is going to be very helpful. You calm down, you anchor your senses. So you anchor your sense of hearing to your dream, you anchor your sense of sight to your dream, touch, smell, all of your senses, you're trying to anchor them to the dream to make the dream more vivid and consistent, and to not wake yourself up out of the dream, because just realizing you're there is half the battle. The other battle is staying there and being able to maneuver, to manipulate, to control your environment, and that's where a lot of the fun comes in, right? So once you do that, you're in your dream world. You will realize that things seem real. So like the same way you can touch things in reality, I have a brush, waves, that seems really, really reality. In my dream, it's gonna seem real too. So you'll realize your dream environment is actually very realistic. You can pick things up, you can walk around, you can move, you can talk to people. And then you can also do some more fringe metaphysical things. You can manifest things out of thin air. So, example, I'm speaking from personal experience. Everything I'm going to tell you, I've done in a lucid dream. You can materialize objects, right? But one of the tips and tricks I learned when I first started lucid dreaming, it's easier to materialize an object in a more realistic way than it is to just manifest it out of thin air. Some people have that ability in their dream, so some people are proficient in it. They can do that. But it's easier for you to, instead of manifesting a flower in your hand, right? It might be easier to reach into your back pocket and then pull out a flower. Maybe it's a mind trick. Maybe it's more easily believable by your subconscious. I don't know why. But for me to manifest a flower out of thin air took a lot of concentration. For me to pull something out of my pocket, like I could pull a rat out of my pocket. I don't have one in real life, but the idea that I'm reaching somewhere and getting something probably was easier absorbed by my subconscious. That's just a theory I have. You can teleport. So if you focus on a certain location, you can bring that location to you or bring yourself to that location in your dream environment. But a much easier and more fun form of transportation is flying. It's difficult at first. You're going to start off levitating a few feet off the ground. But you, over time, will be able to control your body and fly and maneuver. It is not easy. It's like learning to walk again. So just don't think you're going to be hopping in a lucid dream and just flying out of nowhere. You got to take baby steps. Maybe the first dream you have, you're going to walk, maybe, or you're going to levitate. The second dream you have, you might be able to shift left and right and up and down a little bit more. The more you do it, the more you'll be more in control of it. So definitely something you want to practice. I have shot laser beams out of my hands, or energy beams. That was a cool experience. That lucid dream I didn't anchor as well, so it was a lot of very fuzzy. I don't remember it being as realistic as some of my other lucid dreams, but I do remember having the experience nonetheless. Another one I had, I lifted a car. So superpowers in your lucid dreams is feasible. And the whole theory I have behind why this is, on the more like metaphysical area of this, like I think the faster you vibrate, so everything's vibration, the law of vibration, we can get into those laws later in a different video, but everything's vibration. And the faster things vibrate, the faster they come into manifestation. It's just a spiritual principle, right? When you dream, you're in your body, your astral body, right? So you're not weighed down by the physical as much as you are when you're dreaming. And in that state, you're able to vibrate things into manifestation a lot faster. That's why you can do the things you can do. You have the abilities you have. You're not as weighed down by this physical, groggy 3D reality, 3D form. You're just free from a lot of those chains on your body and on your mind as well. So I think that's Ron's theory of lucid dreaming. If I ever become famous, put me on. But yeah, I think that's why that works. Another thing people can do, and so this is where lucid dream came into my really like held an important part in my life, I think, because you can speak to people in your lucid dreams. And these are other fragments of your mind, because when you're dreaming, you're all in your head. So your mind has split itself into other personalities and fragments of individualism. You can communicate with those fragments, but some of those fragments might actually be knowledgeable and conscious as well. So some people might call on Beethoven, some people might manifest Einstein, some people might manifest their grandmother. You can manifest these other personalities within your mind that are independent consciousnesses with their own knowledge base and use them for your benefit. Let's say you want to work out a math problem. Let's say you want to learn something about music. You can use these fragments of your mind to interact with yourself and teach yourself while you sleep, whatever it might be. In my case, I was talking to spirits, beings, entities, gods, things like that on the more spiritual realm, and I was learning things. I was being taught. I remember having experiences that just were honestly, you can't convey into words, but were borderline psychedelic. And so that was one of the avenues I consistently used lucid dreaming for. In my recent history, honestly, I haven't been able to, it's not that I haven't been able to, but I haven't lucid dreamed as much just because I haven't been keeping up with my triggers. So that practice, it's like lifting weights. If you stop lifting weights, you're going to get small. Like, same thing. Your mind requires training, and it requires consistent training. And if you stop that training, well, yeah. But that's my spiel about lucid dreaming. Definitely suggest you guys read some books, watch some videos. There's a lot of material out there, and give it a try. One of the best things you can do, start a dream journal. So that'll help your mind become aware of your dreams. Whether they're lucid or not, the more conscious attention you pay to something, the more energy flows in that direction. Where attention goes, energy flows. Someone said that. So that's definitely true. Another trigger that works, it's not really a trigger, but it's a technique, is going back to sleep. So you'll wake up let's say you go through the night, you didn't lucid dream, whatever it might be. You wake up early, so let's say about 6 a.m. You stay up for 10 minutes. So you let your mind become just a little bit aware, but then you go back to sleep. And so what that does, I don't know how to put it, but what it does, I think your body more easily enters the sleep state, but your mind, because you're awake for those 10 minutes, 15 minutes, is more aware. And so your body is going to sleep and your mind is going to stay more aware. And that results in you becoming more aware in general of your reality, recognizing you're dreaming and entering this lucid dream playground where you can do whatever you want. But those are my experiences with lucid dreaming. Thanks for listening. Welcome to A God with Amnesia. See you guys next time.